sitting on this really strong stool. And a lot of other things start to align, but I can tell you that I am an impatient human being. I absolutely want stuff done now, right now, you know, and so with all that, we start producing better numbers. And when you produce the better numbers, then you start creating surpluses. And then when you start creating surpluses, then you come up with all kinds of ideas and things that can be done. And then really and truly, Bird, Jimmy, Dave Hardy, you know, Austin Caperton, a lot of the people, you know, that are really dialed in, Ed Gaunch, you know, Dennis, you know, from a standpoint of our veterans, so many people that are really, really, really dialed in start coming up with ideas and ways to do stuff. So what we got is we've flipped every rock and we've uncovered millions and millions and millions of dollars in order to be able to dedicate them toward our secondary roads. And so we're after it. Now you've got to know, and I'll promise you that these guys know, and a lot of our guys that are working for the highway department and everything know, that along the way, these roads didn't get this way overnight. I mean, they got this way over decades of neglect, period. We can't fix them all overnight, but I'm going to tell you this, we're going to fix an absolute pot full of them overnight. And then we're going to continue after it, and we're going to stay after it until we get them done. Now, so the net of the whole thing is what they're telling you here about Route 10, it's exciting. What I'm telling you about the Coalfield Expressway, it's exciting. And the net of the whole thing is you're going to be able to get to the convenience store, and you're going to have roads that are going to absolutely bring this area of the world back into real time. And when it brings us back into real time, then all kinds of stuff will start happening right here. To the areas that deserve it the most, in my opinion, to the areas that have given the most, empowering our country at wartime, empowering us all through the world in every way. And this will be the area where people come. And you know why? Because there isn't anything prettier than southern West Virginia. We just couldn't ever see it. I mean, for crying out loud, you couldn't get there. And then once you got there, you were scared to death on how in the world you're going to get out of there. So I can tell you our state's doing bunches better, and I'm horrendously proud of that. You know, I've got to take 1 minute or a half a minute and tell you the magnitude of the better. It's hard to believe, but now just think about this. That first sign over there tells you that in 10 years, we grew at a growth rate less than 1% a year over 10 years. We put together a total in 10 years of $314 million in 10 years. In 2019, in 11 months, we have gained $453 million in 11 months. We have gained nearly 50% more in 11 months than what we gained in 10 years. Is it everything? No. Is there still lots and lots more to come? Absolutely. Is everybody helped? No. Is there still lots of people out there hurting? Absolutely. But I'm going to tell you this, it's better. It's tons better. And so we want to just keep it going, and we'll answer your questions now. And I hope they're not too awful many, because I've had you wait, and plus the fact I've been sitting on this crazy stool all day long, and this thing's hard. So, so anyway, ask what you choose, please. Y'all are talking a bunch, I can tell that.
How long till this is done in Wyoming County? I believe the total build out will be 2021. We're going to be very close to being done at the end of next year, though.
Exactly what are you going to do with Huff Mountain?
On Huff Mountain, we've got some widening planned over there. We're going to try to straighten up some of those curves. We've got a few slip areas there we're going to be addressing. We're taking care of the drainage, and you know we're real big on drainage in the Division of Highways right now. That's priority one, is take care of that water. And then once we pave it, we're going to put a skid-resistant pavement on it, and you'll be able to go through there a whole lot better than you ever have before. If you've had a chance to ride Route 10 all the way to Man, you can see the first part of that project down there. When you get to the end there at the Wyoming County line, it's just like, it's shocking how much better the road you just drove on is. And that's going to continue right on through Wyoming County. And on July 16th, we're going to let the Mercer County section, and you'll be able to drive all the way from Kegley to Man on a safer road than you've ever had before down here.
Go ahead.
The bridge at Jesse on the straight stretch, are you going to bypass it, or are you going to do it one lane at a time?
We looked at every way in the world to try to do that in stage construction, and we just weren't able to. We're going to have a detour there.
How long will the detour be?
I don't know exactly what the contractor's schedule is, but I think we could have that information here in just a couple of months. They're just getting started, so we'll get we'll get that information out to everybody so that they know exactly what the traffic patterns will look like. And
Well, that's an important thing for us because we have a new business.
yes, sir, it is, and that new business is going to prosper like you wouldn't believe because of that new bridge right there.
That's the fact. If we had a detour there, we'll be down for however long you are.
Oh no, you'll still have access. You'll still be able to access your business.
Are you sure?
I'm reasonably sure that we're not going to block a business off. And if you end up with a problem, you call me and I'll come down there. We'll redesign it real quick. We did the whole thing in 99 days. We'll fix it.
We'd like to make sure it's done because that business is very important.
Well, of course it is, and it's important to us too. That's one of the big reasons we're doing these projects is for economic development and to move our state forward.
When can we have a meeting?
I would say. Do you have an idea what the schedule is? I have my construction engineer right here. Tara, do you know the schedule for the Jesse Bridge yet?
Not for that bridge, but we can have a meeting and we can go to the plan to show you what the plan is like.
We'd like to.
All right. If you'd contact Alan Reed in District 10 up there, Princeton, he'll set something up with Tara, and they'll be happy to show you exactly what we're doing.
Okay. Speak now. You
Go
can
ahead.
ask me
Go ahead.
anything.
Yeah, one quick question. If you come from Pineville to here, there's 2 or 3 places where this happens all over, not just here, where the river edge, of course, sets down. And you come in, you drive massive steel beams and all that. Is there any plan really just to set that road about 5 feet over into the mountain? Take that land company, pay them whatever the fair price is? How do you do that?
Not with this project. What we're going to try to do is to get as much width through there as we can, and we have to get the width wherever we can. We always look toward the inside on the mountainside first. But you know what we have down here. You've got that real hard rock, and then it's underpinned with that soft stuff. And when that soft stuff erodes faster than that hard rock, then you end up with that out in the road. And then you've got the river down there below you. It's a tough place to build a road. But this project is more about operational improvements than it is new construction.
About the bridge in Oceana, there's all kinds of rumors about that bridge, that you're gonna make it 3 lanes, you're gonna keep one lane open, the traffic's gonna be backed up for miles when school's in session.
You're going to love what you see when we get that done. I'm going to tell you that's the centerpiece of the whole project, and I'm going to tell you why. Because that particular intersection right there at Oceana, that has 10 times the crash rate, 10 times the statewide average today. When we get done, we hope to virtually eliminate the crash rates there. We're going to put you a new bridge there, a wider bridge. We're going to have turn lanes in there so that you can have a sight distance. You know, you've got that railroad track over there, And that kills your sight distance there. We've made massive improvements there. And you can also go up and have a look at the plans, and they can show you exactly what we're going to do there. But I guarantee you that intersection will be safer than what it is today.
When are you gonna start?
That project is under contract today.
Is there gonna be a detour there, or are you gonna just keep one lane open?
Now, I believe we're able to do a stage construction right there. I think we had enough width there. We had quite a bit of utility work there to get things out of the way, but I believe we can do some stage construction there, and if not, it wouldn't be much of a detour anyway. There's room there.
Are they gonna start the Logan County line, and Long County line come this way, or they wanna come together?
That would be totally up to our contractor. I would imagine that they'll put multiple crews out here, and they'll be working all along the whole 60 miles at different times. We try not to prescribe means and methods to them. You know, they do this for a living. They know what they're doing. They're good partners with us, so we like to let them have as much flexibility as they can so that they can meet these hard schedules that we set for them. Yeah, well, we divided this up into 5 projects, and we did it as logically as we could to try to break up what we thought the cost might be and what we thought the operational might be. It just so happens we stopped at the Wyoming County line with the first one because we funded it differently. We used federal aid, our federal aid program, to fund that section, which was freed up because of the Roads to Prosperity bond program, that I was able to go ahead and add that federal aid project to this one, design it all at one time in one lump. I got a lot of efficiency there. The designers are here, you know, and they're still whining and crying at me about how I cheated them and didn't pay them very much to get the job done. So, but we did. We took advantage of every efficiency we could do. This project is not your typical new roadway construct. This is real engineering here. This is practical engineering. You go section by section along a 70-mile road, and what's it need? What's the fix I can do here from a practical standpoint, and then move to the next section. We didn't just take a template and run it through the topography. It was a very practical approach. We control the cost that way. And we actually analyzed each and every aspect and every element that we did to know how much improvement we would get as we went along.
So you're saying that when you're finished with this, you and the engineers actually out there doing it are going to look at that thing and say, man, that's a sweet deal we did.
That's exactly what I'm going to say. Guys, the guy with the vision for projects like this is sitting right here. If you have any questions, you know, he's sitting right here. This is the guy that allowed me to get out there and have the funding and have the resources to go hire that engineer and to work and inspired me to try something a little different. We haven't done a project like this. We just haven't done a project like this. So the guy with all the big ideas is right here. Take advantage of any questions you might have for him.
Don't be too hard now.
Can we get off the road for just a second?
Sure, that's good.
Bloomberg in New York, what we gonna do with it?
It's illegal.
Well,
That's a secret project.
now let me tell you about this, okay, real quick. I'm sure we've got Democrats, Republicans, Independents all right here, okay? Here's the deal, and you better listen to me and really listen really good. And I'm not throwing rocks at Senator Manchin or anything like that, but now just stay with me. You know, Senator Manchin's who brought Hillary here. Senator Manchin's had fundraisers at Bloomberg's house. I mean, now it's popular because I come out and I say what I say and everything, and before you know it, Senator Manchin is on Fox News saying, you know, by dog, we got to stop Bloomberg from doing all this stuff. Well, really? I mean, we went through 8 years of Obama, and honest to Pete, especially southern West Virginia, almost became just a dust bowl or a drug-infested just haven for everything. And we're now crawling with all of our might to get out of that. And Bloomberg could be more dangerous, absolutely, than Obama ever was. If somebody's going to put $500 million into state races and all kinds of stuff, and their goal, and many of you probably don't know what this is about, but Bloomberg came out and said he's going to put $500 million, $500 million of his money, in trying to influence states to completely do away with all the coal-fired power plants in the country by 2030. Now, in addition to that, he said, and then right after that, they're going to go after the natural gas and the oil to extinguish all fossil fuels we use in the country and go to all alternative energy sources. Now look, I'd be the first one to say, I'm not against a windmill or solar or whatever like that. I'm not against that. But it's frivolous. It's frivolous to think that we can do without coal and we can do without natural gas, and it would destroy our state in every way. Now, I was asked by one of the media people, I was asked, well, do you really think there's any possibility of him influencing it? And I said, did you really think we'd elect Barack Obama? Did you really think the impact of Barack Obama would be what it was? Well, it was, and it's real. And I don't know how much fighting back that you can do, but I know there's a ton of fighting back that I can do. And honest to goodness, I'm going to do it with all the good Lord gives me to do it with. And I know our president's going to be right arm in arm with me, and we're going to some way try with everything we have to extinguish this terrible, terrible threat, because it will just, you talk about Armageddon, this would be Armageddon to us. And so I'd beware of slick politicians that, act like they want to be on your side. And I would step back and just think about it. I'm not your average bear. I'm a business guy. I'm not a lifer. I'm not somebody that's come along as a politician and grown up as a politician and first started here and then here and then here and then became your governor. I'm not that. I don't want anything. I don't want anything. I absolutely believe with all in me that these numbers tell the story. They tell exactly the story. I said this over and over, but I want you all to hear this too, because I love this. I love it. But a person said to me, and I looked it up in the Bible and everything and all that kind of stuff, and it said, Jesus at one time called all of his disciples together and others, and then said, basically, while you're all here, you eat, you drink, and everything, but the harvest is in the field, and the laborers are few. The harvest is in the field. You see, I don't want to just go and hang out in Charleston and have a party and just hang out on your dime. The harvest is right here in the field, right there. The harvest is in the field, and that's where I'm going to be, and the results are there. And if you want to go back to that, you elect somebody else. I got plenty to do. That's all there is to it. I'm not in this for me. I'm not. But I'm going to tell you those results right there, second in the nation. Are you kidding me? From West Virginia? So let's go. And on top of all that, the things that are right at our fingertips, the relationship that I've got with Donald Trump and how much he believes in me, how much I believe in him, all the goodness that we could do together. For crying out loud, we're right on the cusp of finally positioning ourselves to really do good. To really do good. So, I said this over in Bluefield, but I said, imagine, and Bird probably think, because he's known me all my life, It's impossible for me to believe. But imagine this little kid from Beckley, West Virginia, that grew up in a rented house, or started in a rented house, and his grandparents never had indoor plumbing, at least one's up on Huff Mountain. Think about it. Think about just what I'm saying. Or for a long, long, long time, outhouse, chicken coop, all kinds of stuff like that. Great life. Mom, one of 10 kids, 3 boys in the war at the same time. My dad, only child, Air Force captain in World War II. I mean, just think about this just for a second. What are the odds of that little boy that was skinny at one time with brown hair, me, having a relationship where the President of the United States of America is here all the time? What would the odds be? The odds are incalculable. That's all there is to it. We have an opportunity to take advantage of that. It's working. For crying out loud, we don't need to blow that. We just don't need to blow that up. So Bloomberg is a real danger. A real danger. We don't need to stick our heads in the sand. We need to do something about it. And I don't know what you can do, but I know what I can do. And I'll be all over it.
Let me add for a minute that Bloomberg is like a lot of other politicians. And you won't hear them talk about what they're for. They want to tell you what they're against. This guy is for stuff. We don't need a bunch of, in fact, one of y'all's citizens down here, I won't name, from Wyoming County one time, he called them beginners. No matter what it is, they're again it. And that's the Bloomberg ilk and his bunch. They're not for anything. They're against everything. And that's not what you got sitting over here. I'll shut up now.
That's right. Listen, you're really, I don't see any other hands, so let me end by just saying this. You're really good people. You're the very best in my book. That's all there is to it. You need to really always know that and always be really proud of yourself. I know you are, but just to be perfectly honest, we've been beat down. We've been expected to almost know our place. We live in the most beautiful place on the planet, and we're good people. We know the difference between right and wrong, and we're craftsmen. We love one another, and we appreciate others. Crying out loud, all we needed was a spark and a chance. And we got it. We got it. We don't need to screw it up. We just don't need to screw it up. You just always remember and tell your kids and tell your neighbors and everybody you love them and you're proud of them, and they should be proud of themselves. I can't be more prouder of you. I thank you for letting me come here. Sorry I was late. It's all the state police's fault.
Governor, we thank you, appreciate what you're doing for the road and stuff. We got 2 high schools here that need a football field and turf.
We'll get that late.
Well, we don't want pavement on them, we want them turf.
How much is that going to cost?
I don't have no idea.
They're about $1 million apiece.
Football field. 2 football fields, Long and East and West Side. Great schools.
I guarantee they're great schools. Okay,
You dropped
we're working on that next. Okay?
You dropped it. You know that.